representing King County Prosecutor's Office and the state of Washington. We're here for sentencing. The defendant last week entered a plea of guilty to a 2-count amended information, charging him with manslaughter in the 2nd degree and with felony rendering criminal assistance, and alleging that at the time of the manslaughter he was armed with a firearm. I don't believe I need to say much about the facts of this case. This court has presided over a lengthy trial about the matters that led to and followed the death of Steve Bushaw on February 1st of 2009. I think the court has sentenced 3 other individuals in this case, and I think the court is fully aware that by any estimation the events that led to Mr. Bushaw's death were senseless and tragic. In this case, the state is recommending the following, and I should note at the outset that members of not only the defendant's family and friends, but Mr. Bushaw, Steve Bushaw's family is here, and that Meg Bushaw would like an opportunity to address the court. I would also point out that Jim Cooper, the Seattle Police Department homicide detective, is present and would also like to address the court at the conclusion of my remarks, if that's permitted by the court. The state's recommendation in this case is as follows. The standard sentence range for the manslaughter in this case is a period of incarceration from 26 to 34 months, and the state's recommending the high end of that range, 34 months. The standard sentence range for rendering criminal assistance to murder in the 1st degree, as was done in this case, is 12 to 14 months, and the state's recommending 14. Those 2 sentences would be served concurrently, that is at the same time, and so the state would be recommending 34 months for that, for those crimes, and in addition to that, the 36-month firearm enhancement penalty. So the state is recommending a total of 70 months of incarceration for Mr. Chaney. The state's of course recommending that he get credit for the time that he served on this case. We're recommending, very importantly, that Mr. Chaney have no direct or indirect contact with any members of the Bushaw family, and we're recommending that he have no direct or indirect contact with any of the witnesses who testified in the trial in this case. We're recommending that he be placed on community custody after his release from incarceration for a period of 18 months, and we are recommending the imposition of the victim penalty assessment as well as the $100 DNA collection fee. I've handed defense counsel a copy of a notice informing Mr. Chaney that he is no longer allowed to possess a firearm. I believe that he has signed that, and I know that Mr. Gerke has also reviewed with him Mr. Chaney's notice of rights on appeal, and I believe that those have been signed by Mr. Chaney as well. Finally, I also handed to Mr. Gerke some instructions for the payment of the court-ordered financial obligations in this case. And I know that, as I said earlier, there are 2 individuals who wish to address the court in this matter. Thank you.
And why don't we have them do that at this time?
Thank you.
Good morning.
Your Honor, Brandon and prosecutors, here I stand again in front of you. My son was just paving his way in this world. He had his whole life ahead of him, but tragically, it was ripped from our lives all too early. We will never get to experience, nor will we have the opportunity to see him excel in his career, get married, and have a family of his own. He has truly messed, and my life and my family's life have forever changed by this tragedy. In the last 3 years, we've had to go through a 3.5-week trial, 3 sentencings, and now this last one. It's been very stressful the last few years, every day knowing one more, just one more, let justice be served. Your Honor, only Brandon really knows how involved he was in all of this. And I hope he lives with it for the rest of his life. And I hope Brandon has figured out who did their home invasion. Because everyone in this courtroom knows it wasn't my son. He's dead. And that I feel he made Brandon know the depth of our sorrow that we feel for the rest of our life. I feel Brandon deserves the high range of this sentence or more, and I pray with this time he receives will learn what's right and wrong, and driving a gunman to kill somebody is wrong. Today, Brandon, you're being sentenced by the judge for your crimes you've committed, which resulted in my son's death. You still have your final judgment day to look forward to. So finally today, my family and I will have the closure to this nightmare. And we are thankful that we can walk away and say justice was served. Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm Detective Cooper with the Seattle Police Homicide Unit. My partner is here also. We're the lead detectives in this case. And first of all, thank you for allowing me to speak here. I've been doing this 24 years, and I understand the process of pleas and things of that nature. I was given a copy of the defendant's sentencing memorandum here, and it states on page 2, what caused the events of February 1st, 2009 to culminate in the death of Steve Bushaw, we will never truly know. We had a trial. I think we presented evidence. We know what led to the death of Steve Bushaw. The misconceived idea that he was responsible for a home invasion robbery in January 2009 of their friend Sage Mitchell, which Mr. Chaney was there, was a victim of that also. Evidence showed through phone records that it was Mr. Chaney alone that had contact with Bryce Huber that lured Steve Bushaw out to the Tellerico's restaurant that night. It was Mr. Chaney that met up with Mr. Huber at the 7-Eleven with the gunman in his car that led to the death of Steve Bushaw. It was Mr. Chaney that decided to take someone else's car, not his car, to this shooting that caused the death of Steve Bushaw. I understand these things as far as sentencing ranges and stuff like that, but I want to see him get the high end. And I don't know what your powers are, because I don't claim to be an attorney or a lawyer or a prosecutor or anything like that. I'm happy being a homicide detective. But I speak for the ones that can't. I speak today for Steve Bushaw. I believe Mr. Chaney should receive a sentencing range somewhere in around 120 months, which would be 10 years, is my feeling. But whatever you choose, Your Honor, I will abide with that. So thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just briefly, housekeeping details. Mr. Chaney did affix his signature and fingerprints to the fingerprint form. He has signed his notice of rights on appeal. We will waive any formal reading of those. I've advised him that his rights are very limited because he has pled guilty, and I stand ready to answer any questions he may have regarding those. He also did affix his signature to the notice of ineligibility to possess a firearm and the loss of his right to vote. I've explained to him the significance of being around a gun, the difference between constructive and actual possession, and that either one of those sends him right back to prison. Your Honor, when I come before the court on a sentencing, I usually know more about the case than the sentencing judge and even the sentencing deputy, because I've been involved with it usually since arraignment. Today, despite reading the pleadings, the discovery, some of the transcripts, I have to admit that I know the least. I do know that Mr. Chaney was involved, and the quote that Detective Cooper read was not to imply that he was not involved, but it's to basically say, what the hell were these people thinking? How could all of these people, and I wasn't at the other sentencings, but I know from looking at Brandon's background and looking at some of their background, none of them had killer stamped across their forehead. I wish we could understand how this rolled up so that Mr. Bushaw ended up dead. It makes no sense, but it happened. Mr. Chaney was involved, and he has admitted that. Mr. Chaney has friends and family here that show that his support. That's not surprising. He's got a business. He was a law-abiding, great citizen before his involvement in this. Detective Cooper's concerns, I will echo, and I will also echo his words that I've been in front of you many times, and I don't always agree with you, but you're always right. You've always got a well-reasoned basis, and we will defer to your judgment on this. Mr. Chaney understands he has an opportunity to speak. He did send a letter to you, and he asked that I read an excerpt of that to highlight that a little bit. I understand that some of my actions led to Steve's death, and for that I am truly sorry. I have spent the last 3 years wishing I could go back in time and realize the gravity of the situation and change my actions so that Steve would still be with his family and this tragedy avoided. I am a father of an 8-year-old daughter that I love very much. I can't imagine the pain of losing a child, so I am truly remorseful for the pain I have caused the Bushaw family. Again, I want to express my sincere apology for my role in this tragedy, and thank you, Judge, for your patience and the fairness you have shown me throughout. Thank you, Your Honor.
And Mr. Chaney, this is your opportunity if you want to address the court to say anything you want me to consider. I have read your letter. I've also read the letters from your family members and your friends.
I just want to apologize to the Bushaw family for my role in this.
This has been a lengthy case, and we have proceeded through a lengthy trial. And Mr. Gerke, your comments are well taken by the court, because not only has the life of the Bushaw family been shattered, but the lives of every single defendant's family has been shattered. Each one of them has had incredible family support available to them. And it's just a tragedy of unmeasurable proportions. The impact that this act has had on the community is just striking. The following is a sentence which the court is going to impose in this matter. I am going to sentence him on count 1, manslaughter in the 2nd degree, to 34 months. He will serve the firearm enhancement on that consecutive, and that is 36 months. On count 2, I'm going to sentence him to 14 months. Counts 1 and 2 will run current with the exception of the firearm enhancement. So that's a total of 70 months. On count 1, he'll be on community custody for a period of 18 months upon his release from prison. Restitution will be set in an amount to be determined by the court. The state will go ahead and set that hearing. Does he waive his presence?
He waives his presence, Your Honor.
He will pay the mandatory victim penalty assessment of $500 and the DNA fee of $100. I will waive court costs in this matter. He's to have no contact with any members of the victim family or any of the individuals who have testified as witnesses. Mr. Chaney, you're an intelligent, articulate young man. You've indicated in your letter to the court how you intend to take this opportunity to make some serious changes in your life and the individuals with whom you associate. I hope you will do so. You have tremendous promise, and you have a family that has been incredibly supportive of you, so please turn to them instead of those folks that you used to hang out with. I'm now signing the notice of ineligibility to possess a firearm, and also notice that you have lost the right to vote The notice tells you how your right to vote may be restored. Most importantly for you to know at this point, voting before your right to vote has been restored is another Class C felony.
Your Honor, I've reviewed the judgment and sentence as prepared by counsel. It correctly reflects your oral ruling. I will fix my signature to it.
Okay.
I have now signed the judgment and the sentence.
Thank you, Rick.
All rise. Court is in recess.